September 17, 2016. You're looking at the Gulf of Mexico infrared images, guys. This is the storm we've watched forever. It was 2 days ago tracking into the Texas coast. Yesterday morning it turned north and started bringing rings into Louisiana and Mississippi. Now it has turned east. It looks like it's going to track over the Louisiana Peninsula. New Orleans will probably get some good rain from this thing. If it stays on this track, it may go inland. But first it's going to come off the Louisiana Peninsula and enter the Gulf off the Mississippi coast. Julia is still pulling away from the clouds. You see the wind shear shifting everything to the right. But we're going to look at all the spaghetti models of this before the video's over. I'm just showing you some of the infrared images because we don't have a lot of daylight images first thing in the morning as the satellite images come down. Looking at the entire northern hemisphere, first you got the two storms that have come off Africa. You got Tropical Storm Carl in the lead, and then the one I'm calling the monster off the African coast. Now, no one said it would hit the U.S. I'm just saying this thing is going to be massive. Look at the very far right of this image, how long that particular rain band that's going to turn into a feeder band and pull moisture almost from the equator for that storm, guys. It's amazing to see that. Now, ask about the black triangle. They say it's a blackout area where the satellites don't pick up that imaging. That sounds fishy to me, but it's always been there. But anyway, this is that feeder band. So when this thing wraps up, we need to pay very close attention to it because it could be one of the largest on record if it continues to grow. There's Julia, which is now a tropical depression, not a storm. Carl is a tropical storm. And they're not even showing now the little storm in the Gulf, guys. So we're going to watch it, though. Don't worry about that. 1 in 40% chance of this depression. I think they're calling it Invest 95L now. Got 40% chance that this thing grows. It says environmental conditions appear conducive for development at this point. Now, this is a 5-day forecast, and it goes to a 70% chance of formation. Same information below that. Now, this model is showing this starting to curve, and 2 of the models are agreeing with it, really 3, and the BAMS model shows it continuing. That will be a good thing for this thing to turn north and doesn't have time to get to the warmer waters on the other side of the Atlantic Ocean. Now, Tropical Storm Carl. Everything's moved further west. The purple line, which is the Canadian model, was turning north much quicker than that, if you remember. Now, Julia, they don't know what to do with it. Yesterday, the purple line, again, the Canadian model, was taking this out into the North Atlantic, remember? North and east. Now it's looping back, coming inshore on Georgia, dropping into through the panhandle of Florida, right over the area that got raked by Hermine, and back into the Gulf. It's amazing. Tropical Storm Carl is expected, if you notice at the end of this line, 2 a.m. Thursday. Cat 1 hurricane at 80 miles an hour. You can see that projection. If it remains there, it definitely looks like an East Coast storm. They can turn quick. And we'll look at the Canadian model, and I'll show you that. First, look at Julia. Going back into Georgia, coming back out into the Gulf right there. You're seeing Carl, the tropical storm behind it, get close to the East Coast and do a sudden turn. But this will change by tonight. We've been watching them too long. You got that monster storm coming off, and it's showing it turning and going right back into that North Atlantic stream. That would be a good thing. You're going to get a lot of rain, guys, in the UK and Scotland. You're going to get it. You're going to get wind. Depends on the temperature, too. We're getting snow in the Rockies here, so keep an eye on that. The other major story, guys, is Florida's my second home. I keep my boat there and stay on it a lot, and I live in Mississippi. You know that. But this is 30 miles east of Tampa. That's that large Mosaic fertilizer plant. It has what happened was this was a big storage pond, basically. 215 million gallons of radioactive water has drained into the Floridian Aquifer system. The aquifer system supplies drinking water to millions of Florida residents, according to the St. John's Water Management District's website. Additionally, water that escapes from the aquifers creates springs used for recreational activities, swimming, fishing, manatees. Guys, this is major. They're going to downplay it, but 30 miles east of Tampa, you guys in that area know where I'm talking about. We're going to pull it up and look at it. Notice Tampa, St. Petersburg, all the lakes and springs. Florida is basically a sandbar with a bunch of trees growing on it here and there. There's not a lot of hills, but it's a drainage system. The Everglades, all of that's proof of this. But again, we're going to come down to the mosaic plant. Now, in this picture, of course, the drainage ponds were still full. But all of this area that we're looking at below Tampa is affected millions and millions of people. Think about the condominiums. Think about that. And water, and Florida has excellent drinking water from the aquifers. It did until now. But here's the plant. It's called a mosaic plant. It's a large fertilizer. It's huge. It's a huge plant. If you look at this doesn't look that big here until you zoom up on the actual manufacturing section. But guys, you remember the red tide that's down along the Florida Gulf Coast? That's because we haven't had many hurricanes. Some of that should be dissipating, but that red tide comes from fertilizer that comes down the rivers. If you have a tropical season in the Gulf, it dissipates it and you don't see it that much. You'll see it at some of the rivers, but when you have a non-flushing Gulf of Mexico like we've had for 11 years, then that toxin builds up. But this is the plant. This is a game changer. The other thing, just to briefly mention, is you've got about 4 or 5 states now where there's gas lines because of that big pipeline bust. Okay? Alabama's one of them. But I'm sure you're watching that on the news, so it's a good time to go fill your tank up. It's going to be about a week of this, they say, before the pipeline is repaired. It leaked a lot of oil. But they've got over 400 people working on that pipeline now, and they say it could be repaired within a week. Now, how long it will take to get production back online, I'm not sure. But, guys, we're watching it. This is in a way almost as bad as the BP oil spill, because this is not salt water. This is major. And they're saying that they're going to try to get in there and pump some of that out. There's no way. They may pump some water in, but if it's in the aquifer, it's being pushed downstream. And I don't know what they can do with it. Think about it. It looks like a waterfall going off that. Now, just the hole is about 45 feet wide, but that pond was huge. Again, 215 million gallons. Perfect. Perfect. But the book of Revelation says, the nations shall grow angry, and those that destroy the earth will be destroyed. And they're doing it for money. They don't care. It's just like the Zika spray, guys. Florida seems to be getting hit left and right. If it's not a storm, it's Zika spray. If it's not that, radioactive water into the drinking system. We're watching it. Heads up. Be safe.